Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right
You
now.
know what? Everyone's talking about the Blue Jays going after the big names this winter, but they're completely missing what might be the smartest moves Ross Atkins has made. While the entire baseball world is obsessing over Kyle Tucker and Bichette rumors, Toronto quietly locked down two guys who could absolutely change everything for this team. And honestly, I think these signings might matter more than people realize. Let's start with Cody Ponce. 3 years, $30 million signed back in early December, and barely anyone noticed. Here's a guy who disappeared from Major League Baseball after 2021 with the Pirates, went to Korea, and completely reinvented himself. We're not talking about a slight improvement here. This man posted a 1.89 ERA in the KBO last season, 252 strikeouts in 29 starts. He was literally named the league's MVP in 2025. But sure, let's keep talking about the same recycled free agent pitchers everyone else is chasing. What makes Ponce so interesting is what he did with his game overseas. When he was throwing for Pittsburgh, he was sitting around 93 miles per hour on his fastball. Nothing special, right? Fast forward to now, and he's pumping 95 to 96 consistently. That's not just getting older and magically throwing harder. That's deliberate work on his mechanics, his conditioning, his entire approach. And with that extra velocity, his off-speed stuff plays up dramatically. Hitters can't just sit on one pitch anymore. Here's the beautiful part, though. Toronto doesn't need Ponce to be their ace. They don't need him to be their number 2 or even their number 3. With Dylan Cease already in the rotation and the rest of that staff, Ponce slots in as the 5th starter. Think about that for a second. Your 5th starter is a guy who just dominated an entire professional league and was named the most valuable player. If even half of what he did in Korea translates back to the majors, this rotation suddenly has legitimate depth that can match up with anyone in the American League. Joel Reuter from Bleacher Report nailed it when he said this rotation could have upside as the best in the AL. That's not hyperbole when you've got Cease at the top and a former KBO MVP holding down the back end. Ponce has everything to prove and nothing to lose. That's a dangerous combination for opposing lineups. Now let's talk about Tyler Rogers, because this signing might be even more slept on than Ponce. 3 years, $36 million for a 35-year-old submarine reliever sounds like an overpay on the surface, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. This guy appeared in 81 games last season. 81. That led the entire league, and he only gave up 17 earned runs all year. That's a 1.98 ERA while being used more than literally any other pitcher in baseball. Rogers doesn't overpower anyone with velocity. That's not his game. What he does is make hitters look absolutely foolish with his release point and his ability to induce weak contact. We're talking near 100th percentile numbers in barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, and ground ball rate. When hitters do make contact off Rogers, it's soft, it's on the ground, and it's an easy out for the defense. That submarine delivery is such a nightmare to pick up, especially when you're facing him in high-leverage situations late in games. Here's where it gets really interesting for Toronto. Manager John Schneider now has the ultimate platoon weapon with release points. Imagine facing Trey Yesevich, who releases the ball from over 7 feet high, the highest in all of baseball. Then the next inning, you're looking at Rogers coming from down by his ankle. The adjustment hitters have to make is almost impossible in real time. That's not just good roster construction, that's psychological warfare. If the Blue Jays' defense stays solid behind him, Rogers could be looking at his first All-Star selection at age 35. Think about how wild that would be. A guy who's been consistently excellent his entire career, finally getting recognized on the biggest stage because he's being used properly in the right situation. So while everyone's refreshing Twitter waiting for the next Tucker update or wondering what happens with Bichette, the Blue Jays have already addressed real needs with real solutions. Ponce gives them rotation depth that most teams would kill for. Rogers gives them a bullpen weapon who can pitch every other day and dominate. These aren't flashy names, but they're winning moves. And sometimes the best moves are the ones nobody's talking about.